be released at the start of the 2026 league year next week. I'll confess I was at least a little bit surprised by this news. But my receiver today is Harry Douglas. Harry, does this mean that the Patriots, need to go all in after A.J. Brown right now?
It's a possibility, but Greeny, I think the most glaring need is revamping that offensive line. We have to remember last season in 2025, Drake May was sacked 47 times. That was the fourth most by any quarterback. And then when you got to playoffs, he was sacked 21 times in the 4 games. So protecting your franchise quarterback is the most important, in my opinion.
So let's talk about that here. The A.J. Brown of it all came out. You just came back from Indianapolis, where you got a week of just all the schmoozing. That's like a never-ending schmooze fest.
Yes.
What are you hearing about A.J. Brown?
Well, when it comes to A.J. Brown, I had one GM tell me, well, you know the Patriots are going to be all in on A.J. Brown. And that was before the Stefon Diggs news yesterday. Now, it makes a ton of sense given the history with Vrabel and A.J. Brown from their time in Tennessee. Vrabel was asked about A.J. Brown in particular at the Combine, and he said, it's not just the coach-player relationship that they have. It's they text all the time, you know, when things are good, when things are bad. Vrabel talked about how he's so happy to see the husband, the man, the father that AJ has grown into. So there clearly is love and an appreciation of the game. The question is, will the Patriots be just as aggressive as they were last year in free agency to get AJ Brown, who technically isn't really being shopped by the Eagles? Howie Roseman, though, his phone's always open if you want to call.
Should they be?
Absolutely. Listen, you talked about the history with Vrabel and A.J. Brown. That's a simple call to Howie. That's the what's up, big head, hey, you up type of text that you're sending out there and seeing what it's going to take to get a guy like A.J. Brown. I agree with Harry about the offensive line and protecting Drake May, their quarterback, their franchise quarterback. Another way to protect him, too, is to get a guy on the outside that can get open when you don't have a ton of time, when you're going to a quick drop. A.J. Brown is still that guy that can beat man coverage one-on-one. So going to get a true number one, a big physical receiver like A.J. Brown will be big. Remember, they tried to sign Chris Godwin in free agency a year ago as well. A big-name wide receiver. That didn't work out. Now Stefon Diggs is gone. Getting a guy like A.J. Brown will be big for Drake May.
So we had that move made yesterday, and then we had another, and this was another move that took us by surprise. A big trade in the NFL yesterday. Let me show it to you. The Chiefs trading all-pro corner Trent McDuffie to the Rams for a host of picks, including a late first-rounder this year. And this is what we thought of it in Vegas. DraftKings, the Rams entered yesterday tied with the Seahawks for the shortest odds to win the Super Bowl. After yesterday's trade, L.A. is now the favorite. J-Mac, what are the Chiefs doing trading away one of their best players?
That's one of the situations you get in. Trent McDuffie, an all-pro, two-time all-pro type of player. He deserved a massive contract at that cornerback spot. The Chiefs are in a situation where you just can't pay everybody, so they were forced to make a trade and get rid of him and get something in return. To me, this signal for the Chiefs, hey, we don't see ourselves as contenders right away. Patrick Mahomes coming off of an injury. At some point, he's going to be healthy. But not only is Trent McDuffie, their all-pro corner, going to be gone, their corner on the other side, Jalen Watson, he's a free agent. Their safety, Brian Cook, he's a free agent. They could have 3 out of 4 new starters in the secondary next year. To me, this is the Chiefs sort of hitting reset in the sense of now we have to build our next nucleus of the guys that are going to go on a run to become contenders as Mahomes is getting healthy over the next maybe 2 to 3 seasons opposed to 2026.
You sound to me like you're talking about a team that is not, well, Patrick gets healthy and we're right back in the Super Bowl.
I don't see that.
You agree with that, Harry? Do you think the Chiefs are still, I don't know, multiple moves away from being right back in the Super Bowl?
Multiple moves away, Greeny, if you ask me. When you look at the offensive line, the running back position, what's going to go on with Travis Kelce? Is he going to play? Is he not going to play? If he doesn't, how are you going to fill that void? You look at their defensive line. They have multiple pieces on the defensive line. They're going to lose linebackers. They're losing secondary pieces. They have a ton of holes amongst their roster right now, hence to why they probably traded Trent McDuffie to get a lot of draft capital back to reset everything like J-Mac just alluded to. And along as this, on the sides of this Trent McDuffie trade, they have a history of not paying the corners or their safeties. You look at Justin Reed a year ago, Shavarius Ward, L'Jarius Sneed, and now Trent McDuffie. Those are 4 guys that were pivotal players in their secondary that they moved on from because they believe in their infrastructure, they believe in their coaching staff, and the way that they're able to develop players too.
He's a terrific player, no question. Regardless of this situation, and the Rams going all in. in this thing doing their usual, forgetting about the picks. What do you think about it, Kmart?
I'm concerned about the Chiefs because obviously the Travis Kelce of it all, like what kind of player is he going to be? The fact that Mahomes, we don't know exactly when he will be on the field and how will he look. Him tweeting out yesterday, you know, damn, like he's sitting back knowing that he's not healthy and there's so much at stake with this team. The division's gotten better. They got to take a step back to leap forward, I think, and that's what I think the season might be.
But if you are a Chiefs fan, like, don't panic. Like, when you are able to make a trade like this and get this many assets moving forward now with multiple first-round draft picks, like, this is what you have to do to be able to let Mahomes go on another run when you want to make that comparison to Brady and now the second kind of form of this Chiefs dynasty.
On First Draft Podcast, which will drop later today, Mel and Field are doing a mock, and they have Monroe Fielding, the offensive tackle from Georgia, going to Kansas City at number 9. I know a lot of people would.
Why did they make this deal right now?
Jay, it's twofold. One, the Rams under Sean McVay and Les Snead have never shied away from using a first-round pick on a proven talent who can immediately help their roster. And number two, this trade is as much about Matthew Stafford as it is Trent McDuffie. Look, Matthew Stafford's coming off an MVP season. He's coming back for at least one more, and the Rams want to do everything within their power to make sure this roster is ready to go to the Super Bowl after coming up just short this last season. So that means enter Trent McDuffie. Not only does he fill a need in their secondary with them having 4 pending free agents at the cornerback position, but he provides a very strong player who can man that outside position and be a very strong presence in that secondary for years to come. He reunites with his college head coach in Jimmy Lake, who's on that defensive staff. And Jay, one more note about Trent McDuffie. He's a Southern California native. He went to high school at St. John Bosco. I caught up with their head coach, Jason Negro, today, who tells me he actually had dinner with McDuffie recently. They kind of knew this was coming, and that McDuffie was very fired up to be returning to LA and joining the Rams.
All right, so from LA to KC, Nate, what's next for the Chiefs after they acquired all this draft capital?
Yeah, for the Kansas City Chiefs, it's about moving forward, knowing that Brett Veach, the general manager, has actually never given a second contract to a cornerback that he's drafted since he became the general manager in 2017. Now, the Chiefs have a number of needs that they need to address this offseason, and with removing Trent McDuffie to the Rams, they have more cap space to go at and acquire some veteran running backs, someone who could be the starter alongside Patrick Mahomes in 2026. That could be, of course, Kenneth Walker, the Super Bowl MVP. There's a chance that they could get maybe Tyler Algier from the Atlanta Falcons or Travis Etienne, the running back from the Jacksonville Jaguars. Secondarily, the Chiefs understand that although Trent McDuffie was a great part of their defense, the defense struggled to get pass rush on a consistent basis alongside Chris Jones. So expect the Chiefs to also look for some pass rush help in free agency as well. When it comes to the draft, the Chiefs have had great success under Brett Veach selecting a cornerback who can come in and learn under Steve Spagnuolo, the longtime defensive coordinator. They did that with L'Jarius Sneed. They did that with Charvarius Ward. Marcus Peters, of course, was traded from the Chiefs to the Rams in 2018, and now Trent McDuffie goes in that same vantage. So for the Kansas City Chiefs now having 2 first-round picks, the last time they did that, they selected a quarterback late in the first round. They could do that again with the 29th pick to bolster that secondary again to do another draft and develop at a premium position.
Back to the Rams for a second. They've now traded 9 of their own last 10 first-round picks. Nate, Lindsay, thank you much.